everybody? It's your main man, CaliboiJones. We're live on Instagram and Facebook, and we're sitting here with two of the best right now in the game, and that's just my opinion. You'll find out for yourself as we get along to talk to them. We're sitting here with Buddha and Baby from Sippin and Conversations right here in the ATL.
What's good, Sippers?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. All right, so let's start off with how y'all got in the game of podcasting.
Well, Baby like to tell us. I'll go ahead and tell
No, tell them how it happened.
You know, it started with up close and personal with Carl Robeson Jr. And I just tanked. I crash burned. I wasn't funny. I wasn't none of that stuff. And then Baby decided, she said, hey, like, let's do it this way. And so she came in just to help me. And she made the whole show turn up. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't jealous. You know how some men get jealous, like, how the hell is she gonna steal the spotlight? No. Me, I was like, let's let it roll. And that's the origin of Sippin' and Conversation.
Right. So how did it make you feel as a man that your lady came in and put some sugar where it was missing?
Well, for me, honestly, it was a blessing, man. Because at the end of the day, you got somebody who believes in your dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all can go ahead and do this dream together, man.
Right.
My hopes and dreams, and she as a woman, as your rib,
Mm-hmm.
right, is supposed to enhance that.
Right.
So yeah.
Being the helpmate. So, Baby, what was the look he had on his face that you remember when, as he said, he came in and took over the show? What was the look on his face that you remember? How did it make you feel when he was like one of those?
Where all these comments coming from? Like, where these people coming from? Like, and all they doing is like, hey baby, hey baby, hey baby. Like,
they weren't even paying you no attention no more, huh?
Man, they wasn't, but it was good though, cause they like to watch her. They want to watch her check me.
Right.
That's what they want.
To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. When I see that look come on her face, I can imagine either she kicking you or ready to wait till we go to a commercial. I'm finna tell you something.
It get abusive.
Oh Lord. Listen, the height up. Well, you know what? It's some little people out there that can really kick some behind.
Oh yeah.
So,
I was a ninja in my former life.
See,
so it was. So I got pictures of that. I got evidence.
We're gonna let that stay right up under the rug.
Yeah.
So now, since y'all been podcasting, and how has the transition? I asked her this on Tuesday. How was the transition for you when you left from Orlando to come to Atlanta, and knowing how you had all the people that y'all knew and people that were new, that was like Sippin' Conversation. Hey, we got to jump in on that every Wednesday. So now you have from Orlando to Atlanta. What has that transition been like for you?
Oh, it's been eye-opening and tough, right? So, you know, it's a new market for me, right? And nobody knows me personally. Right. Nobody knows me personally, and nobody knows me as Buddha. Right? So to brand ourselves out here where everybody's branded, it's always, you got to find your niche, right? You got to find out where you fit in at so you can just crack the door open so you can kick it over a little later.
Right.
So it's been a slow grind for the most part, but consistency, you're always going to win out.
Right. Do you think that being here, because here in Atlanta, there's such a broad perspective of everything from music to, fashion, to cars, to, acting, the whole nine, even real estate, one of the biggest things that's around the world is one of the biggest things that you have. What would you say Sippin' and Conversation is missing right now that can help go a little bit further?
To go a little bit further here in Atlanta,
yeah,
this is an untapped resource, man. I feel like for us in Atlanta, we a new face. They always see the everybody they know, the famous people doing this thing. But now, this Sippin' and Conversation, man. Right. They don't know us, but we know all of them. Right. Because we all black, we all minorities, we all have the same issues, but it's coming from a different person, right? So fresh faces in this city is what's needed, right? Somebody who can tell their story or tell their story from a different perspective. Right. I think that's where we're at. So to answer your question, what's needed for Sippin' and Conversation is just to get out there and put boot to the street and be with the people.
I think what's the favorite market line y'all say when y'all go out?
What the people
What the people say. Man, listen, I love seeing those clips of what the people say, and it seems like people it's like, wait, what you mean? What the people say? But it's a real simple question. What do people say? What do you say about politics? What do you say about the conditions of the community?
Exactly.
The police brutality in the community, and not just amongst people, but just amongst us as black people as well.
Absolutely.
Regardless if they're a white cop, black cop, Asian cop, they're still a cop, and it does not change the fact that we have it. And being that I just brought that up, how do you guys look at being a black podcast that is in a community where it's predominantly black in this state, period, but yet the police brutality amongst us is still, even with black cops, is still high?
Well, baby, you want to take this or you want me to?
Well, for me, I know that just the justice, there's injustice, how would I say, is the unfairness in the justice system as a whole only makes it even more challenging. So with that being said, you have to go out and vote. Ultimately, it's about voting.
Right.
Why? Because a lot of these people that's making decisions, they are elected officials.
Right.
And you can get some change, but you gotta vote.
Right.
And you can't just wait to vote for the presidential election. You gotta vote for the local and your state.
Right.
That's where the changes, that's where the laws are being passed at the state level that impact what happens at a federal level and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when you're doing it like that, when you go out and just make yourself be more known as in your vote matters, that's when you start to see the change in the injustice of the justice system as a whole.
Right. So let me piggyback off what you said, and it kind of adds some flavor to what I said. It's our responsibility as social media lights, as
I agree.
as influencers,
I agree,
to report the news as we see it, because we right there at ground zero, right? So to answer your question it's very important for our voice to be heard out here in these streets, right? Because we speaking for the people, and some people can get behind us. And guess what? They get behind the movement. You get behind the movement, that's when change is effective. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we started, right here. So it's important for even CaliboiJones show, right? Sippin and Conversation, the relay, all that. It's important for all of us to put our stank on it.
Yeah.
And deliver the message.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what do you guys think about when people say my vote don't count? We hear that so much amongst us. I'm sorry, it seems like it's always us. It's always black people say, well, my vote doesn't count. And it mainly comes from those who live in poverty-stricken areas, the ghetto, or they're middle class and say, hey, I make $50,000 a year. They're not going to pay no more. This is what is it. My vote don't count. What do you guys say to people when y'all hear them say, when you say, hey, you guys want to vote? When y'all hear my vote don't count, how does that make you feel, and what do you say to the people?
You want to go first?
I'm saddened by when they say that personally. And the reason why I say that is because I know why. It's because when they do vote, the people that go in there, they say all this, but then they don't put the action in place.
Right.
And so they've been let down and disappointed so much that they feel like, well, I voted, but see, you got to get educated with your votes.
Right.
Just because, I don't care, Democrat, Republican, liberal, whatever it is, research the person. Now, granted, you just gonna have to pick the lesser of the evils, but your vote does count.
Right.
And if you don't vote, you don't get to say.
Right.
You don't get to pick and choose what you want. You gotta just do it and just hope for the best.
Right.
Expect the worst, hope for the best.
I'm gonna slide in with my perspective. Great, baby. They're absolutely right. Like you spoke on this on part one of this, right? The power of the tongue, right? The power of the tongue says in the law of attraction says, what you believe is what it's gonna be, right? So if you believe that your vote don't matter, then you're absolutely right.
Right.
So don't get mad at what's coming your way. If they're gonna spoon feed you manure, like I said that's word, then guess what? You just gonna have to eat that. Because you could have made the change.
No, it was good. Okay, let that go. can't let that one go. He's like, you see, I got it right. Okay.
And then, hey,
Y'all don't know. Sippin' Conversations is not gonna be PG-13. Okay.
No, so and that's right. So I agree with them. If that's where their mentality is, they got to change themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can probably those people you can look in their lives and see exactly where it went wrong.
Right.
Sorry, but this is my truth. You know what I'm saying?
But
the same thing. There's a lot of people that feel the same way. That if I keep saying that my vote don't count, and I agree with. Put it like this here: eagles don't hang with chickens.
They sure don't.
An eagle soars. A chicken only flap and go by a couple of feet off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If an eagle comes down to a chicken and say, why y'all don't fly? They'll say, well, we just don't fly. And he hangs around them a little too long before he starts developing their mentality. But the chicken can hang around the eagle. He won't never develop the mentality of an eagle because he was not created to fly.
Correct.
So if God called us to be eagles to soar, to look above and look low. Right. You fly high and look low, so you look at it and say, I don't want to be down there. But if you hang around the wrong crowd, people say, if you lay down with fleas, you're going to get up with them.
That's it.
So if you keep saying my vote don't count, and you ride around with other people say my vote don't count, all you need is, what, 2 more people before you know it. Y'all got a whole spirit of my vote don't count.
That's when you touch and agree.
They touching and agreeing, my vote don't count.
Come together.
Y'all working with the devil right now.
Correct.
So now, I'm going to touch on politics just a little bit more because it's something I kind of stay away from. But since y'all here, we can, when they say what, when 2 or more gather together,
yeah.
Come on, let's get this thing together. So let's talk about presidents. Let's talk.
I'm gonna let this one be on Buddha. Buddha's the politician of the two.
No.
So let's talk about this one particular president. Let's talk who we all agree probably should have never become one, and we're talking about 45, the Orange Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the charges that have been so-called brought up against him, and then him having to turn himself in? And do you think that he's even going to be convicted or served any time?
Okay, I'm going to just say something real quick. Sorry. Don't be distracted by what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. Stay focused, people, on what's really happening. And it ain't got nothing to do with Trump. Okay? Mm-hmm. You all need to be following the bank crisis with Silicon Valley, the crash, okay? That is where you need to take your focus. That is where you need to maintain. You need to go to the global news to find out what is happening. Now, granted, we all know the situation with what's happening with Trump. Cool. It's what it is. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not saying he's a good person, because all jokes aside, there are a lot of things that actually took place under his leadership. Mm-hmm. And that was y'all credits, all these different things that did happen, okay? And now, I'm not a supporter or anything, but of the working class people, I benefited a lot from it. So thank you, because even though some people will say he's not a good business person, he is a businessman at the end of the day. Right. So stay focused on the truth. What's happening?
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree to a
Sorry,
extent.
I had to say that.
I'm gonna agree to a extent. It's just smoke. It's really smoke and mirrors, man. Yeah. Is America ready? Are they ready to be famous enough to put the first president behind bars?
Why not?
Have we ever?
No,
man. Exactly.
But it's still this.
So with that.
But think about what they've done to the other dictators in other countries. I got it. But they had to have some American assistance with that as well. But yet they still took they're dead. Right. They ain't just convict them; they're dead.
I don't necessarily think that he's going to jail. You don't think he's going to jail?
I mean, if he do, it'll be federal prison. He'll be in some luxury resort
and protected at all costs.
So if he goes to jail,
they could never do that.
Personally, I don't think he's done anything any different than any other president before him.
Right. So what makes him different they want to charge him with?
My point.
Because who he was visibly in cahoots with.
That's
See, he was visible. He was like, what you see,
they weren't trying to
take
get
me
Bush
as I
when
are.
They weren't
See,
trying,
I'm glad you said that.
They weren't trying to get Bush when he was with Gorbachev. But you know, here we go. Here we go.
Again, if you lay down with fleas, you're going to get up with them.
So, you know, again, personally, I don't think he's going to get... I'll be surprised if he do. And then that'll tell me that our country is going in a different direction.
They cannot have that. The United States of these Americas
but you
cannot put that kind of...
And I hate to say this.
notification out there to the world globally that we are going to do certain things. But they are going to make an example.
I just feel like I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to feel like if us as a minority really felt good about change, then why you get the guy in here that's in here now who put us back in the 80s, who put us back in a situation where we had families with no fathers.
What?
You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
I'm about to go real stupid.
he was on the committee that gave you 10 years per rock.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, now
he is definitely
he was
not
on there, and he's not.
People of color.
He's the
at
poster
all.
child.
And
So
the only reason
I'm not saying he ain't
Miss
people
Harris
of color,
there.
because people can change, but us black people, we don't forget.
Yeah.
Correct. But people need to remember that the only reason why Miss Harris is there is because he was losing the race. And so they gave this depiction that
these are just opinions.
African American. She has it in her system.
These are just opinions.
And she does not.
It's
actually a whole conversation, and I posted it on Sippin and Conversations.
And this is why it's important for people to do their homework.
Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to voting, you be like, well, I voted for a black woman. Oh, okay.
She's not black woman.
But she's something, but you know, if you don't know what she is, then you know, it is what it is. So let's do this.
You got me on politics.
I didn't want to do that.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move away from the politics. But I got one last question in the politics.
Okay.
Do you think that we will ever have a female, doesn't matter what race, a female sitting president? And do you think it's going to happen this next election? This is it.
Yes.
No.
They're going to give it to us.
Yes, but not this next election.
Not the next one?
Maybe not the next one, but
the way
it will happen in my lifetime.
Okay, come on. Okay.
It'll happen.
Okay, because I was going to say, do you think it'll be in
my lifetime? In our lifetime, it will happen.
Okay.
And we're going to see it.
Will you vote for it?
I don't know. I'm voting for what benefits my grandchildren.
And that's really what you should do.
Yeah.
It's not about who she is or who they are. It's about what they represent that you need to be voting for.
Honestly, whatever the impacts are, the consequences and repercussions for whatever the causes that they've been funding. But see, you got to go back deeper. You got to take it back 20 years, 30 years. You got to know where they came from when they were in Congress, when they were in the local. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what message they were putting. Because politics, it's a game. It's a game all day long. They're going to play whatever tune needs to be played to be where they need it to be at a point in time, even if they may have to compromise themselves.
Right.
That's the unfortunate.
Yeah. So now let's go ahead and get off these here politics because they are wild. It's not my favorite conversation, but I like to hear other people's, opinions and the perspective they look at it. And it kind of helps those who think, politics is stupid anyway, because if you're not really serving the people, then what are you there for?
Right.
Besides running up the tax bill.
Start at your local.
Yeah.
That affects you immediately.
Right.
Your local.
Right.
Your local house.
Now my thing is I didn't ask this on Tuesday, but where did the name Sippin and Conversations come from and why?
Really? Okay, well shoot. We like to drink.
Okay.
We like to sip. And we like to talk. So we was coming up with the name. We had a few other names out there.
A few of them.
The Love Shack.
That would have been good, the Love Shack.
We tried.
Well, primarily, I did not want us to be viewed as relationship oriented.
Gotcha.
we needed to incorporate something that was more open for all diversified topics.
Right.
And to just say anything, you say love, it kind of puts you in a box.
Right.
And that's where he started coming up with a few things, and I was like, yeah.
So like when you drink, right? Most people say that's when the truth come out.
Oh, drink a little alcohol gonna open up something in you.
Exactly. So
if your emotions are high because somebody did or said something, or you had a flashback or something, you sitting around somebody, you know what this mother did, and man, I remember it brings back a lot in people.
So sipping and conversation, truth and conversation.
Okay. Now here's a question for you. Where do you get the most love from on the spectrum of male and female? Who do you think is your bigger supporters that watch? Not just those who are continuously watching, but they come in and they just like, is it the male crowd or is it the female crowd?
It's the woman crowd.
Yes.
It's the woman crowd because I'm the villain.
You the villain?
I'm the villain.
We can't help. We always gonna be.
But listen, baby,
until we need it.
Baby will always tell her, if you come on the show, you better be ready. Because I'm going to shape every fabric of your belief system.
Come on. Is that what you tell the baby?
I'm going.
I just, but then I also be like, now their opinions are valid, okay? And you cannot minimize how they feel.
Great.
Now you can challenge them, but I need you to come in. Come back.
If you go to any show, you know when I won when they start quoting Bible.
Let go.
Well, the Bible say, I got you now. You know what I'm saying? I got you.
Listen, I kind of trap people in that saying. As soon as they challenge something, I say, I don't agree with that. Well, let me go ahead and tell you what the Lord said, and He didn't say that. So it's a thing for most people. They can't help it. It's a challenge in most people. When you have a conversation with them, they say, "Oh, well, I don't agree with that." It's fine. We can agree to disagree. So when y'all have guests on, is it more of a fun factor, or people be like a little nervous when they sitting and talking with y'all?
I think in the beginning, they're so accustomed to think the I's being dotted and the T's crossed, right? So they don't realize, chill out,
right? Relax.
We're gonna talk like if the cameras were off,
right?
That's the feel. So they get a little nervous at first, and then I will do the Q&A with them, or and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions that you're gonna be able to answer,
right?
And you're gonna feel comfortable answering them, because they're geared towards the who. You gotta know your audience, right? You gotta know your audience.
You gotta know, and I think that's the most important thing. That when you're getting ready to interview someone, I tell people before they get started, I say, listen. This interview, this conversation is about you. Don't nobody know you the way you know you. Right. I don't even know you like that. So any question I ask you, you should be able to answer right then and there because it's about you. You got a business you're doing, kitchen and bathroom. You should be able to just answer that right off the bat. If you work in law enforcement, you should be able to answer. You know what you can say and what you cannot say to put yourself. We don't want nobody being purged whatsoever. We want everybody to be under doing what they're supposed to do. So if I say, hey, baby, where you work at? Baby knows you work at. Carl, Buddha, where you work at?
One I don't want to name.
See, you see what I'm saying? So you have a way of making people comfortable. Like, listen, don't be nervous, even if you're gonna be nervous. I had a lady on the show last month. She does. Matter of fact, I think she's watching right now. She does kitchen and bathroom.
Oh, okay.
And she said, I'm so nervous, I don't talk. I said, listen, I had her rolling before we started rolling. Right. And I said, listen, I need you to understand, this is for your business. And this is to highlight your business so that you can bring more people to you. So whatever you do, answer to what you know your business is about.
Simple. It's a simple tactic, especially when you ask them questions that they can answer.
Right.
Now, when you start asking these opinionated questions, then it'd be like,
right.
But as long as
you
you stick to what you know,
right.
the business, like
exactly.
When did you start your business?
Right.
Caliboy, when did you get into podcasting?
Right.
I say that to you. You can be like, about 3 years ago,
right.
Where it started off with such and such. Okay,
right.
cool. How did you feel then versus now?
Right.
And you'll be able to answer those
questions.
Because
you've grown into that
right.
line
Those
of
are
their
questions
career, right?
that you can go from range to range.
Right.
And now you're breaking them down. Plus, then you like, hold on, let me get you a little shot. That'll always make you feel better.
So let me ask you something. Have you guys gotten your response back where people say, man, y'all show just, that those feel good responses from people?
Absolutely. Sometimes they come and they don't know what to expect, and by the time it's over, they are best friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
This is easy.
When I'm coming back.
When you gonna be good? Okay, so it's always something like that.
Yeah.
So I like it, you know, and then they'll say, I didn't know about this one. Because I set you up where you can be prepared that he may challenge something.
And he does challenge. I
He will challenge you.
He will challenge you.
But then I be like, don't listen to him. Focus on me. He ain't seen. Focus on me. And that's where the people start. They be like, oh, they real cool. Like, because that's like you said. They be waiting on me to check him, and sometimes I be like,
not having it.
I ain't doing it today, no. Or I be like, I'm just saying, y'all know, baby, be with it now, like, you know what I'm saying? And then he be like, oh Lord, nice, I know she.
And she's actually watched. She said, and now she's addicted. Now she want to talk to y'all every day. She sent me a message, and it really touched my heart. Because when you get those kind of messages, you change people's lives.
Right.
And when you can change somebody's life just by allowing them to be themselves, to help them grow, you already know you've done exactly what God needed you to do. Absolutely. So, what are some things y'all are looking forward to in the near future for the podcast?
Ooh.
Anything y'all can share, but if you can't share
it, it's more about the rebranding right now, and because we relocated from Orlando to Atlanta. And then adjusting with his work schedule, just life, adulting things to be adjusted makes a big difference. So I think for us, the greater thing is just kind of getting back moving, making it happen. I don't care if it's a 5-minute live or 2-minute clip, something of the sort. As long as we got some motion going, that's gonna be like, for me, I think that's gonna be the trick to moving things along. And I look at him like that.
Come on, Buddha, go to speak your mind.
Oh, I'm gonna speak my mind, man. I just really,
I love him though.
I'm looking forward to meeting new people, bringing new experiences, introducing the new audience to Buddha and Baby. Right? Turning this thing up 110% because you know what? We Florida.
Right.
Florida.
We Florida all day,
you saying
every
you
day.
Putting that O in there too much. It's
Florida.
No problem. She says I'm a little white. I'll take that. You know what I'm saying?
So as we get ready to wrap this up, what would y'all like the people of the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia to know about Sippin and Conversation?
Real talk, real life, real people.
She said it best, man. Hey, come with it, cuz we gonna bring you the real. Period. All we know how to do is be honest. And
we're looking forward to the new market. It's extremely challenging, but it's exciting because I'm Aries, so I'm gonna bring that fire. Okay. Just let y'all know that. Yeah. Just letting y'all know. Atlanta, here we are. Yeah. And it's what it is. So, Sippin and Conversations. We will be dropping soon on the new date. There will be pre-recorded shows. Right. With or without him. You're going to see Sippin and Conversations. Point blank, period.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and step on the camera
real
quick. Hey. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I did this on the back end of watching my family here. Yep. All right. So what we want y'all to understand that podcasting is going to be around for a long time. Radio is still around, but radio is fading. But we still want everybody to support radio because without radio, it wouldn't be any podcasting. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, y'all got any last remarks?
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
CaliboiJones.
I love y'all. There's nothing you can do about it as long as you have faith, commitment, and love. Anything is possible. Y'all make sure y'all holler at them Sippin' Conversations on Instagram. Buddha and Baby. And y'all know where y'all can find me all day, every day, right here on the CaliboiJones radio show on Instagram and Facebook. Thank y'all so much for joining. Man, y'all get ready to check out this content from this podcast conference. Was crazy. It was crazy. We met a lot of people today, but I'll share with that another time. Y'all take care of yourself, love on yourself, and one more thing.
Shout out to the relay team.
Shout out to the relay. For real, y'all check out my other podcasts that I have put together with some beautiful people. Relay Convo 23. I'm telling y'all, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, y'all check us out. If you want to be a guest, y'all let your boy know. RelayConvo23@gmail.com. And also CaliboiJones Radio, the number 2 @gmail.com. After all that's been said, y'all go talk to God. He'll love to hear from y'all. I'll let y'all later.